All right, I guess we'll start the agenda items. The first item on the agenda is the public hearing with Christopher Associates. The Hubbardston Conservation Commission will hold, or first of all, let me step back here. This meeting is being recorded, obviously, and the board can introduce themselves. I'm Rick Green, Chairman of the Conservation Commission. Tom?
Tom Larson, member.
Kayla Larson-Dubois, member.
Richard Clapham, member.
And I'm Mallory Seaman. I'm the admin.
All right, very good. So I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing or no, public hearing.
I'll make a motion. I'm getting
I second the motion.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. The Hubbardston Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, for a request for determination filed by Christopher Environmental Associates on behalf of Fall Line LLC for installation of an underground electrical line to service a single-family home at 231 Gardiner Road. Tom, are you ready to talk about this? We can't hear you, Tom. No.
I can see that you're unmuted, but we can't hear you. I was getting very scrambled audio. Is that what you guys heard?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe he's trying to rejoin.
It's a nice shot of the bear you have, Ed, in your living room.
Yeah, it's a sort of a camp style.
Right over your head.
It's a wild boar,
Oh, that's a boar?
267 pounds.
Whoa.
How was that? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank
Now
you.
we can.
This happens occasionally on my end of the road. So would you like me to start?
Yes, please.
Okay. For you folks that have been on the commission for a while, you are quite familiar with the property. It has more or less become known as the dog park. The owner is Dr. Joey Edsel, and primarily over the years, we have developed a number of attributes on the property specifically for the training of dogs. The commission has in the past allowed us to do repairs to the road by culvert installation, repairs to the lower culvert that goes across Hubbardston Brook. You've also allowed us to construct a small pond as a training feature for the dogs. And for that, we are very appreciative and thank you very much. This project is to bring power into a proposed home site. Dr. Edsel has decided that she would like to erect a seasonal home, a cabin or a camp or whatever, and instead of going back and forth to her home near Lowell, spend weekends out here training her dogs. The project itself was pretty straightforward. We have to install a pole from Mass Electric. That is going to take a significant effort on my part to try to get that accomplished. From the pole, we expect to travel across the existing road that's been there since, well, I've been working on that site since 2008 or 9, and the road was in existence before I arrived. We have done some upgrades to the road under your supervision from time to time. But the road itself is in the buffer zone, but it is not in the 25-foot no-touch zone. So essentially, we would go from the pole along the eastern side of the road to install an electrical service line. I originally noted in my determination of applicability that the road was 650 feet long approximately, and that was incorrect. It's actually closer to 900 feet. I've since marked that out. I would also point out to the commission that there is an exemption allowed for installation of underground utilities under 310 CMR 1002 I. And I did include that in the determination of applicability. It's a pretty straightforward project. Other than what I've explained to you, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have.
Does the board have any questions after looking at the plan that Tom made? I have none.
Rick, Tony did drop off the paperwork back in the office for the site visit. And he did make a note on it that he felt an NOI may be necessary, but I'm not sure if he's aware of the exemption or not.
I should have pointed that out to Commissioner Coppola at the time, and it was an oversight on my part. Yeah, just an oversight.
Happens to the best of us.
Any comments or questions from the commission? Hearing none, are there any public comments on this project?
I do.
Yes.
Um,
Can you identify yourself and
oh, sure. My
your
name,
address there?
my name's Danielle Gardiner. My concern is where the conduit would go to, because at this point, they're trying to be determined if there's a right of way or if there's a cart road access on that property to the back properties. And I wouldn't want to, you know, if there is a right of way or a cart road that goes across it to interfere with where the conduit would be.
So I'll be happy to respond to that question. This is something that has been brought up a number of times by various abutters to the property, that there has been an alleged right of way to the backland. That is not true. It was settled in a court case with another abutter back in 2009. And we have since had the property surveyed, and the surveyors have not come up with any right of way as a part of a record in the Registry of Deeds. And I would also note that there is no record in the town's assessor's office of any right of way other than the the cart road or the main access road that is currently owned by Fall Line.
Does that clarify your question?
Yes, but at this point, there is research being done. So I just don't want it to interfere if it is determined.
I mean,
Well,
additional
my-
research is being done by some other party. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes, by an attorney.
I would point out to the commission that these attempts to establish a right-of-way to the backland is essentially to access the gravel pits for ATV use. We have erected a permanent gate on both ends of the property, and we have posted all of the property legally. The purpose of the security is primarily to protect the animals. The animals are highly trained, and they are very valuable animals. So any conflict that it might have with ATV use or dirt bike use inherently would be a problem. So consequently, we are secure in the research that we perform relative to rights of way. And as I said, there has been a court case that has settled this once. And if they can come up with another story, we'll certainly be willing to listen to it.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Any other questions from the public? Hearing none. If there's no more information, I'd like to entertain a motion to close the hearing. A motion, not a notion.
Tony's muted. I think Tony wants to say something.
Oh,
Tony,
I think it would be helpful.
I'll make a motion.
all right, Tony. Hi, Tony.
You were entertaining a motion to adjourn?
Yeah,
All
motion
right,
to adjourn the hearing,
all right, I make a motion to adjourn the hearing.
close the hearing. All right, second.
Oh, I had a quick question.
I'll check.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Hi,
Hey, introduce
this is
yourself.
Damon. I had a quick question. Are you guys listening, or I'm not sure I'm live here?
Yeah,
we're live.
Oh, hi. I just had a quick question on, I talked to Mallory, and she said that I need to do a, I guess, a advisor or something which I understood, but she also said that I need to do a NOI. And I was wondering if I could do an RDA instead. Is that possible, or do I have to do the full NOI for a fence?
We haven't gotten to this item on the agenda yet. It's number 69 Gardiner Road, so we have a couple
Right.
more things to go over.
Yeah, we're working on the first item right now.
Sorry, yeah, sorry about that. I heard you trying to adjourn the meeting, and I just came back from trying to get Chinese.
No,
I
it's
just
just a
joined.
hearing.
All right, thanks.
Chairman Green,
Yes.
now that Commissioner Coppola is on the line, I would like him to be informed of the exemption that I forgot to tell him about yesterday.
Okay.
Mr. Coppola, I know that you were going to suggest that we do a full notice of intent, but I noted that under 310 CMR 1002I, installation of underground utilities, we have an exemption for that. He's not muted.
You're muted, Tony.
Tony, I think you're muted still.
Yeah,
There you go.
if that's legitimate what you have, then we can go forego the notice of intent.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you.
All right, very good. All right, so we've closed the hearing. Are there any order or conditions we're going to ask to be placed on this project?
Does it show any on the plan?
Yes, the plan shows hay bales and silt fence. I would point out to the commission, as I pointed out to Mr. Coppola yesterday, the silt fence has been in place since 2013, and we have maintained it regularly. Prior to construction, we would have to add either hay bales or straw wattles, whichever the commission would prefer. It's up to the commission.
In going along yesterday on your property, everything looked very good. You had a few areas, like you say, that you'd have to do something with. I would like to see hay bales. I'm not in love with the wattles. And everything else, I mean, you have wonderful drainage on both sides of the road where the line is going down the middle of. So I don't think there's much of a worry about any runoff. So,
Right.
okay. I think it all looks pretty good.
Okay. So whatever's on Tom's plan will be the order of conditions associated with the project. So I'd like to make a motion. Can we get a motion to approve the order of conditions as we just mentioned here and vote to approve the project?
I think we're
I will
approving
make that
negative
motion.
determination.
Negative determination.
All right. If you insist. So I make a motion, we have make this a negative determination,
Thank you.
or however
I
the
will make
wording.
that motion.
Second. Is there a second out there?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Very good. Thanks for coming by, Tom.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your consideration. You've been a great board to work with, and it's nice to see some new folks on there, and I wish you the best.
All right, thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you,
If
Tom.
anybody wants to stop by, just send me an email. And I think Tony was happy with what he saw yesterday. I'd be more than happy to show folks around anytime they would like.
Yeah, keep up the good work down there, Tom.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, next order of business is to review and approve the minutes from July 7th.
Make a motion to approve as is.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agree.
Aye.
Okay. We got Tony. Speechless. All right, I think I read his lips and he said aye. The next order of business is 20 Comet Pond Road, 20 Comet Pond discussion. Let's see where to start. We have been out to the site at least 3 times, I believe, and I think things are maybe changing slightly. Perhaps we should let Anastasia and Associates start maybe? I don't know.
Who?
The lawyers.
Oh.
I think Mallory, you'll have to unmute them.
Yeah, I don't know if I have them. I think they're muted on their own end. I just asked them to unmute. Did everyone get the letter that I forwarded from them today?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I've requested them to unmute, but I haven't gotten a response yet. It's muted on their end, not mine.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sue?
Yes.
Okay. We hear
Can you
Sue.
hear us? Can you hear Mr. Anastasia, Mallory?
I just hear you with an echo right now.
Here, you can talk to them with that.
Am I communicating with the commission now?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay, let me turn my phone. All right, let's start again.
There we go.
All right, great, thank you. Sorry about the technological goof. John Anastasia, I represent Sue Mitchell, who's a co-owner of 18 Comet Road. I hope all of you members did get the memorandum which I sent over this afternoon that outlines Ms. Mitchell's concerns with respect to the activity being conducted at 20 Comet Road. Did everyone get the letter?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Several concerns since I became involved with this case and doing some research. Your clerk was courteous enough to send over the file as I asked. And as I reviewed the file, I found the signed order of conditions, and I found a plan that was approved. When I researched the order of conditions, I found that it had not yet been recorded. Now, I don't know whether that has been done yet or not, but as I'm sure the commission knows, Chapter 140, Chapter 131, Section 40 requires that the order of conditions be recorded before any work starts. In addition to that, Ms. Mitchell noticed that she believed that some of the activity at 18 Comet, in fact, that 20 Comet was being conducted on her property at 18 Comet. So she engaged an engineer who drew a sketch, which I provided to the commission, showing that contrary to the plan approved by the board, is being constructed on Miss Mitchell's property and not Ms. Morgan's property. And now there's runoff and silt occurring from that misplacement of the material. Fortunately, both Ms. Mitchell and her co-owner, Don Mitchell, have been put on notice by DCR that unless they abate that situation, they will be subject to fines and other court action. So quite simply, what I am looking for from my client is an enforcement order to Ms. Morgan to do the items listed on page 2 of my memorandum. Number 1, immediately record with the order of conditions. 2, remove all the gravel that was improperly placed on my client's property. 3, restore and replant all the vegetation on my client's property. Comply with all action required by DCR, and otherwise continue with the work pursuant to the approved order of conditions. That's the relief that my client is seeking. Whether the commission wishes to impose monetary sanctions, that's entirely up to commission. Now, I understand, speaking to my client and Mr. Mitchell, there was a on-site meeting in August of this year, which apparently all parties came to an agreement in principle to do the removal of the gravel and the restoration of my client's property. Now, I don't know whether it's gone any further, but we're looking for an enforcement order to make sure it does proceed further. I welcome any comments from the commission.
Okay, I'd like to start on Kenrick.
Yes, sure, Tom. Thank you.
So Tony Capola and I went over when we did get from Mallory notified that someone was looking for a stop of work order. So we went over, we took a look at it. We went over unannounced. We did find both parties there. And at that time, we tried to do a little mediation to see if there was a common ground that they would both agree on. At that date, they did. They agreed that Edie would clean everything up, put it back to the original grade, and then plant the appropriate plant material which was there. And Susan was going to come up with a list on what the plants were. The pile of gravel was to be removed. There was going to be a plan drawn that was going to show, so both parties, Susan wanted to see a plan before any work started. The plan was drawn by an engineer. It was going to be 1 week, we would meet again. And then we'd look at the plan, and my part would be, if anybody had any questions on that plan, I could answer those. Then we would come to a meeting and go through and make sure everything was done so that everybody knew what was going on. That at the last minute of the second, prior to the second meeting, Susan said she did not want to attend. And she, at that point, I believe, told us she was getting counsel. So at that second meeting, DCR was there at Edie Morgan's request. So we had a brief conversation. My understanding, and DCR can answer these questions, an amended form was going to be put in to resolve the issues. Now there's a couple different things going on, probably more than a couple, but looking at the plan that was drawn, I just scaled off there. The first 100 feet is the jurisdiction of Hubbardston Conservation Commission. In that first 100 feet, we believe there are no violations. It is past that the violations occur. Again, that's by me scaling the plan. So I'm not an engineer. I don't claim to be. But what we, I think, well, speaking for myself, we would like to work with DCR. They're working on a plan that they were given now. See how DCR comes back before we take any steps.
Mr. Chairman, may I respond?
Yes.
I appreciate everyone's willingness to work with DCR, but in the meantime, DCR is threatening action against Ms. Mitchell and Mr. Mitchell also. There may be no violations within the first 100 feet, but clearly there's a violation of the commission's order of conditions. I mean, that's as plain as day. Number one, you shouldn't have done anything because the order of conditions wasn't recorded. You start with that right away. Second of all, there's no question that the road was built not according to the approved plan. That in and of itself is more than sufficient grounds to issue an enforcement order. Now, you can put conditions in the enforcement order if you wish, but an enforcement order should issue so there's continued oversight that the work is going to proceed. So working with DCI may be part of the enforcement order, but the enforcement order should first come.
Okay, thank you. Obviously, the order conditions need to be recorded. That's something the customer does. And unfortunately, it doesn't get checked to see that it's done.
I didn't understand.
I didn't hear you.
I couldn't understand what you said, sir.
I said the order conditions needs to be recorded at the courthouse by the owner, in this case, Edie Morgan. So that wasn't done apparently, or maybe I should ask Edie if that has been done subsequently.
Am I on?
Yes.
Are you asking me now? The driveway was altered, but it's still in the original place. As a matter of fact, it's the driveway from where the Mitchell's parking area is, and their cabin is a driveway that the Mitchells used with impunity all these years. They did not own it, but they used it to access their cabin, and their friends sometimes parked on it. Sometimes their trucks parked on it to bring in kayaks and so forth. That was an existing roadway. There was no, it didn't seem to need a special permit for that because it was already there. It was improved, yes, as was, what you would do with any roadway.
No, I'm sorry, at this point, I was just asking if the order of conditions have been recorded at the courthouse. Edie. Recorded at the courthouse.
Yeah, well, I'm not too sure what conditions you're talking about.
Oh, it's in a paper, piece of paper.
Yeah, I know it's a piece of paper, but no, it wasn't recording in the, I didn't know I had to record one because there wasn't anything unusual going on.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the deal. The order of conditions is a put on the deed as a restriction going forward, so that you have that. If someone looks up the deed, they see the order of conditions.
All right, so tell me exactly what conditions are you looking for?
The order of conditions that came from the hearing back in 2018. You know, those are generally recorded within a day or two or a week or whatever at the courthouse by the owner.
Okay, well, was I given a list of conditions?
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to look at that. I don't recall. I don't recall having that before.
Mallory, can you send her another order of conditions?
Yeah, I have a copy of it. I can email over to her.
Okay, all right, and I would get that done right away.
I mean, I'm sure there's nothing unusual. It's what's on the
Yeah,
plan.
okay, I just wasn't aware that I have to do that.
That's comment from the attorney.
But she will send that to me, she'll email it to me, and I will get it down to the courthouse right away and record it. Is that the deal? The problem we've been having here is that in order for me to remove that material from the error in the what the contractors did, I have to access the Mitchell land, and I have been trying since the beginning of July to get permission to do that, so that I can do the remedial work and get everything taken care of, and have the land be restored. And I'm not being allowed to do anything because the Mitchells will not give me access to the property so that I could put down the silt fence that would be required for me to do that work. And I do have a plan, and I wanted to present it to, I wrote to the Mitchells earlier, well, the end of last week, to say, well, let's meet and I'll show you my plans. The DCR has my plans, and the Conservation Commission has my plans for the remedial work. And I wanted to show the Mitchells and explain to them how that work would be done, so that it would be the less impact to their property possible, but they would not sit down with me to discuss it. Also, in the meantime, I am getting a lot of, how did I say, some attempted, what we call it, sort of vandalism, where Sue's been trying to make it look like we're having erosion where we don't have erosion, and she's blocked my contractors from coming in, and she's parked across the road, she's throwing rocks. We have it on video the last time she was throwing rocks across the driveway, and different kinds of harassment. And instead of this harassment, it would be nice if she would sit down and work with us and get this matter taken care of while the weather is favorable, so that we can be good stewards of the land and get it restored while we still have growing season. And if I started tomorrow, it would take me at least 2 or 3 weeks to get all the contractors lined up in a row, so that they could do the remedial work with the least amount of intrusion and any further damage, to mitigate any damage.
Mr. Chairman, if Ms. Morgan is done, I'd like to respond.
That sounds good. Go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Mitchell's only concern is to get her property restored. She fully recognizes to do that, contractors will have to enter upon her property. There's never been a problem with that. But I want it done in an orderly, clear fashion. The scope of the work needs to be described. The duration of the work has to be specified, and the restoration of the property needs to be specified. I'm pleased to meet with Ms. Morgan or her attorney and work out those details at any time. Our goal is not to delay her project. My client's goal is to restore her property and to remediate the trespass by Ms. Morgan. And she's willing to work with her.
It's a two-way street here, you know.
Through the commission, through the chairman, I'm offering the opportunity to meet with you or your attorney and work this out at a time of your convenience, so long as it is quickly.
Tomorrow?
Thank you.
Chairman, Rick, can I make a suggestion?
Tom, go ahead.
All right, there is a plan that Edie's engineer has drawn up. It's very detailed. It shows exactly the areas where the intrusion happened, what's going to be done to resolve that. If that works out, is it John? The attorney? If John and Edie can work out the details and then report back to the board, I think we'd be in favor of that if that works for both parties.
Mr. Chairman, I'm pleased to do that. I have not seen the plan. My client has not seen the plan. So as soon as we do, we can begin to meet with Ms. Morgan and work out a contract sending forth her remediation work.
That sounds good.
Are you okay with that, Edie?
I'm sorry, is that directed to me?
I'm really not too clear here on what you're really trying to say. I have been trying to get this done for 2 months, and I have not had any cooperation. I have, yeah, and the reason that the Mitchells have not seen the plan is because they refused to meet with me and let me show it to them. They refused to come to that meeting where the second meeting with the Concom that Sue and Don withdrew from. I brought the plans. I pushed my engineer to get the plans done, so ready for that meeting, and then they didn't show up.
Sue was there at her house?
No, not for that one.
No, she was in her house.
Oh, yeah, Sue was in her house, but she didn't come to the meeting. She was on the property, but she didn't come to the meeting. So I don't know what else I can do. If Don will meet with me and we agree on it, you cannot say, I would have to talk to my contractors to see what kind of a timetable they could do, because it would take coordination with several different contractors to do that work.
Are you willing, Edie, to meet with John, go through that? He's willing to sit down with you, come up with a schedule, stick to the schedule, stick to the plan. Does a very good job of defining the areas that need to be resolved. If John agrees with that, will you agree with what John says? Are you willing to at least sit down with John and go through that?
With John?
The lawyer.
The lawyer.
The lawyer, the attorney.
Well, what I'm concerned about is I don't see the need for a contract. I can see someone trying to set me up on that one. So the track record has not been good. But if he wants to come tomorrow, I would have to have some people to witness it. and record it, and we would probably also video it. Just to be sure.
Mr. Chairman, if I may inquire of Ms. Morgan. Ms. Morgan, if you could provide me your contact information, and with your permission,
What contact information?
I will call you, and I will attempt to set up a meeting with you.
I
And with
said,
anyone else you wish to have included in the meeting. And if you have an attorney, I encourage you to bring him to the meeting.
I don't feel the need for a lawyer.
Okay.
I am presenting you with a plan. I will have it videoed and recorded for my protection. And I will go over, I could show you the plan, and we can go from there.
May I contact you, Ms. Morgan?
Yeah, you can contact me. You want to meet tomorrow?
I don't think I can meet tomorrow, but I can meet Thursday or Friday.
Nope, can't do that.
Mr. Chair, if I may speak.
Jennifer?
Yeah, I'm Jennifer McGinnis from DCR. We have got the plan, and we did talk to Miss Morgan. If any work outside of what the original application to DCR was would need to be okayed by us first. So we're okay with her remediating to the point of the original plan. I know there was some add-ons that were on the remediation plan that we would not allow without an application to us. In addition, I have scaled off the plan, and the majority of this work does fall outside of the Conservation Commission jurisdiction. Not all of it, but like the gravel pile, that's within DCR jurisdiction, but not within the conservation. I just want to make you aware of that, just in case you guys haven't scaled it all off. But removing the gravel and adding erosion controls, we're okay with. There was some other things on the plan that we had talked to Ms. Morgan about and stated that they would need to reapply through us. But we're hoping just to get this remediated either way, either Ms. Mitchell do it or allow some of the two of them work out an agreement.
Okay, I think we're still onto the meeting concept.
Mr. Chairman, this is precisely why I believe an enforcement order is required. Because we're going in a concentric circle right now. Just because I can't meet tomorrow isn't an excuse to delay this. An enforcement order should issue, putting the applicant under the gun, so to speak, to get the work done.
Politically incorrect, but that's okay.
Commission in writing, that to the extent necessary, that her contractors need to enter upon my client's property, they will be granted reasonable permission to do that. Thank you.
I could meet with you Thursday morning.
If you're comfortable giving your phone number in the meeting here,
I wouldn't advise it.
well, call my office in the morning, Ms. Morgan. If I'm available, I'll speak with you. If not, I will call you right back. But in the meantime, Mr. Chairman, I'm still requesting that the commission issue an enforcement order.
All right, I'm not sure about what good it would do because the work is basically done already out there. We're trying to clean up the gravel.
It's remediation work, Mr. Chairman.
There's nothing that I can do on that remedial work without the Mitchell approval. So I don't see what you have anything to worry about. Nothing is going to happen on that particular portion of my property.
So I have a question for you, Jennifer.
Yes.
As far as the work that needs to be done that is beyond the original scope, if they're going to go in and clean that up, do you have to revisit that before they can do that?
Who's talking to me? I'm sorry. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom, I'm sorry. I just wanted to know who I was addressing. No, so we're okay with them going in. So they presented us with a plan, and we're okay with them going in and removing removing the gravel, both the pile and where the driveway was extended over the property boundary, installing erosion controls, and if needed, we were okay with them adding a little bit of riprap. And this is all within the 100 to 200 foot, which we have jurisdiction over. There was other things on the plans about a proposed steps if Miss Mitchell wanted them. That was what I was referring specifically to. Any kind of work like that that wasn't on the original application would be something that we would want to readdress. Foaming, seeding, and planting native vegetation would also be okay with, as long as it's not an invasive.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Does any of the board members have any input or want to discuss the request for the stop work order on this project?
All right. My thought is this: if John and Edie can get together, possibly Thursday, they can work out an agreement that they're both satisfied with, and that they can give us a timeline that it's going to happen shortly. I'm comfortable with that. If that sounds like that can't happen, then we'll have to go down a different avenue. I'm looking at our priority is obviously the environment and the first 100 feet, which are stabilized. It's the second 100 feet that has to be dealt with. Obviously, we want that dealt with quickly. Edie, if you'll work with John, get that done so that everyone is satisfied, that'll be done promptly. I'm fine with that.
Ms. Morgan, just before any work starts, just please, if you could either email Alan or myself. I know you've been emailing Alan with whatever the proposed plan is, if it deviated from what you originally sent us, or any construction sequencing, just to make sure that it is something we would allow. We're fine with restoring. We just want to make sure there wasn't anything in addition to. And it's best to reach us by email because we're working virtually. I'm on the Starship right now. Anyway, so yeah, we're not in the office. So basically, yeah, email is always the best way to reach us.
Right. So you have the plan that I
do.
Yeah. And so
If the chair wants to share my screen, I probably could bring it up. Here, I'll request it.
Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be cool.
It says you disabled screen sharing.
Oh, that's right. They did that. I can just make you a co-host for now, and you should be able to go ahead and give it a try now.
If I share the right screen. Just bear with me. I have like 50 windows open. Are you seeing a plan in front of you right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I chair my conservation commission, so I'm like the Zoom wizard right now. Okay, so here is the plan. The pond is actually in this section. This was the proposed house that's been built. Over here, this they were thinking about putting, because of the grade change from the driveway when they pulled back. This is the limit of disturbance and the property line. So this would all have to be pulled back in this area, and this was the area we're concerned about. There was proposed stairs if Ms. Mitchell wanted them. Ms. Morgan had, added them to the plan, but that's something we would have to approve because that would be in addition to what was already approved by DCR. The 100-foot comes in right about around here on the plan. So this is the 100 to 200, which is what we call our primary zone, and the 200 to 400 is our secondary zone for DCR DCR approval. So we're fine with them, pulling back all the gravel in this area. If there is a grade change and they need to stabilize with some riprap, even though it wasn't on the original plan, we would be okay with that. And then replanting this area. But it would always be best to just shoot us an email with like a construction sequencing, what exactly is going to be done, and we'll get back to you with an okay. Does that help the commission a little bit?
It does.
And did you get the amendments also?
I didn't, but Alan might have. Alan's covering my meeting tonight. I'm supposed to be in Rutland also. I thought about doing two computers at once, but that's a little challenging. So I just haven't been able to talk to him. So he might have got the amendments. This was the last plan I saw. I think right now that we're all just concerned about this, where this property line is and where the limit of disturbance in getting that. So I can check with Alan tomorrow with your amendments. Okay, Ms. Morgan?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing now.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask Mallory if you would email over to me that plan?
Yeah, I haven't gotten a copy of it yet. So Jen, if you could shoot me a copy of it.
Let me find out what
the amendments,
what the amendment is, and then I can do that. I haven't seen it. Again, we're all working virtually, so it's kind of like if you're not checking your emails, things get missed sometimes. So
totally get that.
Well, Mr. Chairman, the only concern I have is when I meet with Ms. Morgan, I'd like to be looking at what is the final plan. Because whatever we do is going to be predicated on the plan.
So why don't Ms. Morgan and Mr. Chairman, if you're agreeable to this, why doesn't Ms. Morgan, since most of the work is going to be within that 100, 200 foot where you don't have jurisdiction on, why don't she send it to us first, get our blessing, and then we'll send it to the commission for any work that was in the 100 to 200 foot. And then Ms. Morgan and the attorney, I can't speak to the attorney. I'm not allowed to speak to an attorney without a DCR attorney present. So, but then we can send it to you and say, yes, we've blessed it. The commission's blessed it. And then you and Miss Mitchell and her attorney can bless it. Does that sound agreeable?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I believe that certainly is agreeable, but obviously it would be a non-productive meeting for me to meet with Ms. Morgan until we have that final plan. So if someone can tell me when I might have that, we can then schedule a meeting with Ms. Morgan.
So, Ms. Morgan, why don't I talk to Alan tomorrow to see that amended plan of yours?
Yeah,
And see if we agree, and I'll try to get him to send you an email tomorrow. Is that sound?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And I can also give you a little guidance on anything that I noticed on it. That I got that plan from Alan today, so I'm thinking maybe he didn't see his email with a new plan.
I don't, well, yeah, I think,
Because we've been pretty busy.
yeah,
We cover, you know, I cover 28,000 acres, so I mean, it's been a busy day. So.
God bless you.
Yeah, and Alan covers, well, he covers the whole, all of Quabbin Reservoir. I cover all of Ware River watershed, so we're pretty busy. So I think that might be a good way to move, since the majority of work is within DCR jurisdiction, and of course we would always run it by the commission before, you know, we want to work with you, not against you on these restoration projects. Does that sound?
I'm very anxious to get it finished, to tell you.
Yes, we are too. Trust us.
I know you are. Yeah. I mean, it's for the environment that it's, the sooner we do it, the better.
Okay. Does that sound good, Chairman Green?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And Mallory, I'll shoot you an email. I think I have your email address with my cell phone number, so you can reach me direct. It's my personal, because
Yeah.
if you call the office, you're not going to get me. So
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, it sounds like a reasonable path forward. Is there any other concerns that we want to talk about?
I would like to express a concern whether the Ed Blanchard live across the pond. And our concern is always the quality of the water at Comet Pond. In the first 100 feet, there were a lot of trees removed in order to build a house, and that certainly is necessary. But I have not seen the original plan, but I don't know what the original plan shows the trees by the waterfront. And I believe recently some trees have been removed within the 100-foot area that were by the waterfront.
Not on my property.
Yes, the one that blew down.
Except for the one that blew down. And you can't, that was Mother Nature, that wasn't me.
And I guess the concern would be that
Do you want pictures of the blown down tree?
that the new plan would, because there's been so much fill brought in, that the new plan would be such that in a big rainstorm, that all of that wouldn't seep into the water.
It's well contained. There really hasn't been a problem with the erosion on that. There's only one section that was silting in a small area.
It was in the 200.
Does the original plan with DCR show the trees that were in existence?
The DCR told me to cut them down.
I'd have to look back and see. I mean, I know what we approved for the house, and so we would know that any trees in that area would have been removed. But I don't have that file open. We went out and did our site inspection, and we didn't see any erosion into the pond, which is our main concern, as that's a drinking water source. All the erosion was in an upland area.
And the only tree that came down was one that blew down. We have kept all the trees growing along the waterfront, all the shrubbery. We have been very careful to keep those.
I would just ask if DCR would review the original plan, and if it shows trees, to just check those that were by the water side.
Sure.
There weren't any.
Thank you. My other request is not for the Conservation Commission, but more a zoning concern with the setbacks from the property line of the shed that's 6 feet from the water or 10 feet from the water, and whether that is a violation of the setbacks as well as the well.
Well, the cabin that was there for 100 years, I am ordered by the DCR to take that down when I have my place built enough so that I can put the storage underneath my deck for the stuff that was in there. They said I could keep that up until my cabin was ready. So that was there 100 years, and we're taking that one down.
I understand that. I'm questioning the other shed on the other side of the property that was put there recently.
17 years ago.
That,
Time flies.
Well, that's really a building inspector question, not for the commission. So
That was a shed that is not, it's so small that you are not required to get a permit to put up a tool shed type of building.
Right. But
That is
also,
within a
there's no
certain square
requirement.
footage.
It,
It is well within the current footage that's allowed for a shed.
any structure that goes up on a property still needs to abide by zoning bylaw setbacks. So if I can have, I've already requested Roland to go out, but I can remind him again.
To
Thank
do
you.
what?
To look at the shed.
Oh, to look at the shed.
Mr. Chairman,
so
comments?
Yes.
let's stay on track. This is only conservation.
Now, number one, on the question of the trees along the water line, my client can provide photographs pre-construction by Ms. Morgan, which will clearly show the trees that were there. And I will ask my client to reach out to Jennifer tomorrow with those photographs. Number two, in closing, I would again ask the commission to issue an order of conditions to make sure that there's an enforcement vehicle to get this remediation done. And that's all I have to say tonight.
Okay, John, thank you. We have an order of conditions for this project right now. Do we think we need to amend those or something? Or just to make sure that those are recorded and followed? Which they have been, I believe, in principle.
You can go and get them recorded tomorrow.
Yeah, you're gonna send them to me and I'll get them recorded. Isn't that what we had said before?
Yes. All right. So that will be done, John. Is that what you're asking, or is that what you're getting at?
No, Mr. Chairman, that's part of what I was asking to be done. Everything else I've asked to be done is outlined in my letter that was emailed today. Now, I'm not suggesting that the board needs to use the verbiage I wrote, but certainly within the spirit of what I put down. And then the recording is just the start of it.
All right. Well, all these things that are the five bullet points, I believe have been covered, and Edie Morgan intends to meet and to take care of that, as far as I know. So I can't say anything else except for that the minutes will show that we've had this discussion and the path forward that covers your request.
All right, so I think if this discussion's over, I want to go have dinner. Mr. Chair, if I may, try to help wrap this up tonight. That Ms. Morgan, I will talk to Alan tomorrow to see your final set of plans, and we will discuss whether or not DCR agrees on it, at which point we will then ask you to forward it to the commission for them to look at and give it to their blessing. And at that point, when I guess DCR and the commission are both in agreement, then you can reach out to Ms. Mitchell or her attorney if you feel that's the route you want to go. We're not getting involved in the attorney thing. Does that sound good to everyone?
Yes.
And okay. So.
That sounds good to the Concom.
Okay. I'm happy we can work together.
All right. Then I believe this discussion is over for now, and will be resumed at a reasonably early date, hopefully next week.
All right. Thank you. Night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right, I'd like to move on to the next agenda item, which is 69 Gardiner Road sidewalk request. That is you, Damon. We already, Tony and I went out and looked at the fence. I believe that's what we're talking about.
Yep. What happened was
Yeah,
I didn't mute I didn't mute the television.
You know what? It got done. Except for the enforcement. I mean, how the hell do you get an enforcement order out of these people?
Do we have any questions on this? I think Tony is gonna.
oh,
Damon, do you have any questions or this?
oh yeah, I talked, yeah, no, I talked to my civil engineer, and Mallory let me know that I needed to do an advisory ruling and then also an NOI. And my civil engineer just asked if I could do an RDA instead. Not that I know what that means, but I looked it up and it just shows, an application for no impact on wetland resource area. So it kind of sounded like what I was doing. So he just wanted me to ask if I could do an RDA instead, since it's just a fence.
Tony, you want to say anything about this?
All right. A long day.
Yeah.
Long day.
Yeah. See what I'm.
I know. They're getting it though. They're getting it. They get her ripped. She's nothing but bullshit.
Right.
Hey, you guys are still on. You're not on mute. We can hear your conversation.
No.
Can you mute them?
Too. All right, let me see if I can mute them. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So RDA versus NOI versus whatever.
Yeah, no, that was just my question. Is I know I have to do the advisory ruling form, but I guess my civil engineer wanted me to ask you guys if we could do an RDA instead of an NOI. Not that I know what I'm talking about. But
So you mentioned a fence, but also plans about a driveway. So
no, this is
want to
just
clarify
for a
what
fence.
Just for a fence.
Yeah, this is just a fence. I will come with a full NOI sometime, I don't know, down the road for a building, but right now I'm just trying to do a fence. I mean, I definitely understand the NOI for a building.
Tony is trying to talk.
Yeah, Tony's muted again. There you go. Oh.
Had it for a second.
Yeah, you're muted again, Tony.
So weird.
All right, I guess I can talk now.
There you go.
Now you can.
All right, Kaylee, you know more about this than I. If you think that we could do it without an NOI,
Yeah, I was just pulling up the Wetlands Protection Act. I do think that fences, providing it will not constitute a barrier to wildlife movement, stone walls, stacks of cordwood, are exempt from needing an NOI.
so that sounds like he could probably get away with what he would like to do.
Just an RDA.
Okay.
I think so.
Thank you, Kayla.
Thank you, Kayla.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Schmidt?
Yeah, if that would be fine, if I could have my civil engineer do that, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Any other questions
All right,
for
thanks.
us, David?
No, just sorry that I was so crazy earlier. I made an hour trip to Orange from Royalston to get Chinese, and I came back and I turned on Zoom, and all I heard you guys say is, "Oh, we're closing the meeting." I was like, "No." So, sorry.
It's all right.
All right, thanks. Thanks, everybody. All right,
All right.
bye.
Take
Bye,
care.
David.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice,
You
nice.
too. Bye.
The next agenda item is the Gardiner Road site plan review for Mark Curtis for, not familiar with this one, I guess.
Sure. So I sent over some plans for the last meeting. I think I sent them over again. Mr. Curtis is going before the planning board later this week. He's looking to put up some storage units on Gardiner Road, 36 Gardiner Road. So basically what it's going to be is just an unmanned storage facility where you have a passcode to get into the gate and you have your own lock, padlock, and key to get into the facility. So the planning board was just asking all of the boards to take a look at the documentation, and if there's any concern or comments they want us to bring to them if we have any.
That's right next to the pallet factory, pallet shop, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Close proximity.
All right, so will we review this and get back to them by the next meeting, or do we have to do that right now, or what's happening?
So I know they're going before the planning board on the 3rd, so in a couple days. So I don't know if there's any immediate concern that anyone saw.
It's pretty flat gravel right there.
Hmm.
So
Where is that? The area that they had the little golf
yes,
setup? Okay.
yeah, just north of
Now, where they're storing everything for the road now. And
yeah.
all. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like 7-8 acres or whatever it is.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything that conservation would even be that concerned about in that area.
Yeah, I'm looking at the map now. It's just it is a 8-acre site right next to the pallet shop. It's flat and there's pine trees there, and I don't know what's in the back.
Is there a wetland boundary somewhere on here or no?
I didn't see anything on here. Wait a second, I see something here.
I know it gets very wet in back of the field. the soccer field and all of that. That area behind there gets very wet, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't show any on this plan. I don't show any construction outside of some test holes for a perk test.
Yeah, what are they asking us to look at?
I think it's,
It's basically perk test results is what I have.
Yeah,
I don't know. We would not
Wes's-
have any questions about this as far as I can see. It's just a perk test. So we would, as far as I'm concerned, we have no concern at this point, unless if some of the board has a question about it or whatever.
If you find it necessary, I would go out there tomorrow and take a walk out and see what's out there. That would be up to the board.
A couple of years ago, we did have at field day a ride that went out in the back there. I don't remember anything being wet out there, but that's not to say there isn't a wet spot out there.
You're right. Well, they're showing, test holes 85 feet from the road and so far from the property line. And I don't know what we would have a concern about where they do the perk test. They're not showing construction or anything else on the property.
I'm just pulling up the Mass GIS, and it does look like there probably will be a buffer zone on the, this is oriented differently, but here's 68. North is north on this plan. These are wetlands, so probably intersects the back of that property, but it's not drawn on there, and yeah, they're not proposing anything on this plan yet.
I didn't really understand what you were talking about, Kayla. At the back of lot 36.
Mhm. Well, these are the wetlands colored in green. Can you see that? So
Yeah.
the buffer zone
Okay,
probably overlap.
I see. Yes. All right. Well, for this iteration, I don't think there's anything. The perks are up in the northern part of the lot there.
I suppose we could weigh in and just say if any work is going to be done within the 100-foot buffer, we need to be brought in.
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable.
I can do that.
All right. Any other comments or questions from the board on this? Hearing none, let's go on to Mackey Pitcherville Road, and another forest cutting plan submitted by the same forester and being done by the same logger. So I don't know if we have any comment about that or not. Normally we don't.
I'm assuming we heard no issues from the last time.
I've not heard any. All right, I guess if there's no comments on that, is there any other general comments or concerns by the board or other business matters we want to discuss before we adjourn?
Did we get everything signed for Malone Road?
I just need Tom's signature if you want to swear. I don't know if I have the right, do I have the right email on file for you, Tom?
You do.
Okay. So I'm usually in Monday through Thursday, like 8 to 3. Just knock
Okay.
really loud because I'm in a back office now and all of our offices are still public closed.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will try and sneak up, so possibly this Thursday. Does that work? Will you be
I'll be there.
this Thursday? Okay.
Yeah. We're just Monday, we're closed for holiday.
Is it Memorial Day or 4th of July?
It's all blended together.
Did the summer go by already?
It's still March.
Too quick.
Too much time spent out in the hayfield, I think. Any other questions or concerns? Tony, are you getting paid for site visits?
You're on mute, Tony.
Yes, I got paid.
Good.
Good. All right. All right. All's well with you, Mallory?
Doing the best we can.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make
I'll
that
make a-
motion.
All right. Second.
I'll second it.
All right, Rich. Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
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 All right. Very good. Thank you.